What's up, addicts? In this video, we're going and doing our first best ball draft of the season. We did it on drafters.com, totally new site. We just found, not a sponsor, hopefully someday. They're doing a cool deal right now where you can get a 25% bonus. I'll include the link below if you guys want to do some best ball drafts. But check this one out. We did a 12-team draft from the 4 slot, and let's get straight into it. If you guys are looking for more things like this, we're doing a ton of best ball drafts before the season starts, so hit that like and subscribe button. Let's get right into the draft.
Okay, so the draft has already begun. Got the recording going a little bit late, but as I said, we were wanting to do some mock drafts for you guys, but then I found this site as pretty new here, but glad to see that they're doing, you can do fast drafts now, and you can join leagues for pretty cheap. So it's like, why do a mock draft when I can just do an actual draft? So first 3 picks here go Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, and I'm guessing this is Ezekiel Elliott because it says Dallas running back, so we are going to go with Dalvin Cook. And Dalvin Cook is our first pick of any best ball draft, so welcome to the squad. Just getting used to this website, but it's pretty cool overall. The overall format of it is pretty user-friendly. They have an app version as well. As I said, this is a pretty new site, so just discovered it a few days ago. Very familiar settings to best ball 10s. You have 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 tight ends. 3 wide receivers, a tight end, and 1 flex. And then one cool thing about this format as well is they don't even have defenses. So you have 18 spots you have to roster. You don't have to worry about defenses, so you can really just focus. So the strategy here is going to be exactly what we discussed with you guys in our previous video. We're going to be hitting running back early, trying to shore up our team with strong running back core, and then flip over to receivers. Since we don't have to worry about defenses, that means if we're going to do our 13 players between running back and wide receiver, that means we'll either have 3 quarterbacks or 3 tight ends. Really just going to play this as it comes to us and see what happens in terms of trying to figure out whether we're going to go heavier on quarterback or tight end, just based on who we end up getting a better pick of. So as we see a lot of running backs coming off the board, we did see Julio Jones go as well. So right now, obviously, I have my eyes on, if we're looking at running back still, we still have Josh Jacobs, we still have Miles Sanders. Those are the guys that I would be hoping will fall to me. At this point, I'm not too optimistic that they will, but we see Travis Kelce go there. We have 6 picks left, so there goes Aaron Jones. So still surviving a little bit, probably going to get sniped just so you guys can enjoy my pain. If we get sniped on Josh Jacobs or Miles Sanders, we may have to pivot to wide receiver, because I think that we get a tier jump to the next group of running backs that I think we'll be able to get in the 3rd round, so it won't really make much sense. There goes Miles Sanders, so that one hurts. So pretty much the only guy here that we would go running back right now would be Josh Jacobs, which I highly doubt Josh Jacobs falls to us, but if he does, that's pretty much our locked-in pick. If not, nope, there goes Josh Jacobs. So now we got to start thinking, all right, we can pivot a little bit and potentially go running back in the 3rd, because we can still get guys like Jonathan Taylor and Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the 3rd. Don't really necessarily want to jump the gun, but I do really like DJ Moore and Kenny Golladay in the 3rd. So let's just see what this next pick is. So we get Leonard Fournette. Running backs are going off the board. We got Chris Godwin here. We've got, like I said, DJ Moore. It's really hard to ignore the receivers that are falling right now. Let's just go Chris Godwin. He had a phenomenal year last year. He's going to be Tom Brady's best overall receiver. I like him a lot more than Mike Evans. He's fallen pretty far, so we'll go ahead and we'll take Chris Godwin early on. Let's see what happens to the running backs now. As we said, our next tier of guys, we're looking at Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jonathan Taylor, and Todd Gurley are the 3 guys I'd be looking at mostly. I actually really like Jonathan Taylor, statting him out. It looks like he's going to have a really good year. So we'll probably go after Jonathan Taylor if he's still here, assuming that he can survive 6 more picks. If not, we'll definitely go either Clyde Edwards-Helaire or Todd Gurley. Leonard Fournette's gone. Still have Le'Veon Bell and Melvin Gordon in this tier right now. our rankings are being adjusted. As you can see, I was working through statting out some different players, so there's still going to be some adjustment that's going on as we get closer and closer to the beginning of the season. But as it stands right now, liking the way that this started out. See George Kittle go off the board here, so now we've got 2 tight ends. These guys are taking an early tight end strategy, which is okay. We've seen a lot of success with that last year. And then Odell Beckham goes, that's a little bit earlier than I was expecting to see him go, at least compared to some of the mock drafts and some of the best ball ADP that I've observed. But overall, not that surprising to see George Kittle and Amari Cooper go. Amari Cooper is a guy I like a lot more in best ball than I like in regular leagues, because when he has those weeks where he just disappears, he doesn't hurt your team because he just doesn't appear on your starting roster. But when he has that 30-plus point blow-up game, it really helps maximize your benefit on your team. All right, so we're starting to get a little bit of a wide receiver run here, which is really good. I'm thinking we're going to be able to nab Jonathan Taylor here, and I'm gonna play a little bit of game theory here. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is buried, and my hope is that he actually falls. I highly doubt he falls to me in the 4th, but if he does, I'm gonna laugh my butt off. But really, really like Jonathan Taylor doing the stats. I have Jonathan Taylor ranked slightly ahead of Clyde Edwards-Helaire for his first year, which was a little bit surprising to me. Wasn't expecting that to happen. So we'll double check here and make sure. Frick, DJ Moore is there. Nope. You gotta stick to your guns. Got to stick to your guns and take running backs early. They will dry up very soon. So we're going to shore up our running back spots. We got Dalvin Cook and Jonathan Taylor now, and Chris Godwin at wide receiver. There's plenty of receiver help earlier. I love DJ Moore this year, and I really was hoping that someone would fall to me in that second round that I could have taken at running back, so that way I could have taken DJ Moore here. But we see Todd Gurley and Clyde Edwards-Helaire go immediately after, so that's kind of closing up that tier. The only other running back in that tier that we have right now is Le'Veon Bell and Melvin Gordon. And again, as I said, we're kind of adjusting the rankings as we go. So Melvin Gordon might be dropping just a little bit, but I think Le'Veon Bell is a guy that's being forgotten about in a lot of spaces right now. Probably won't fall to me, but if we can really shore up and just get 3 running backs in our first 6 picks, 3 guys that we're comfortable with having as running back 1 or 2s, I think that would be a really good start, and then we can start hammering on those wide receivers here in just a bit. See, Zach Ertz goes off before Mark Andrews. That was also a little bit interesting. We see there's a little bit of disparity in the NFL between who they think that third tight end is outside of Travis Kelce and George Kittle. So you see Melvin Gordon, Chris Carson, Adam Thielen, Allen Robinson all go off the board. So wide receiver tier is drying up as well. This next pick is going to be very interesting. It's really going to depend on who falls. I guess Le'Veon Bell goes, so that's going to make this a lot easier. That running back tier is getting pretty gross. We still have guys that we can take a shot on, like rookies like Cam Akers, KeShawn Vaughn, David Johnson, but I don't really like any of those guys more than some of the receivers that are here. We still have A.J. Brown on the board, Keenan Allen, Cortland Sutton, T.Y. Hilton, Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is fantastic. Calvin Ridley, both of these guys are going to be great in best ball leagues when you consider how many touchdowns we're expecting both of these guys to score. You really want guys that carry a very highly weekly upside, and with Cooper Kupp and Calvin Ridley there, those are probably the guys I'm going to target, especially with guys like David Johnson going off the board. Yes, we're going to need another running back, but we are pretty happy with starting Dalvin Cook, Jonathan Taylor, just hoping that either Cooper Kupp or A.J. Brown. If A.J. Brown falls, that's just stupid. I doubt he falls to us with only 2 more picks in front of us. Watch us get sniped. Come on, do a quarterback run. Lamar Jackson goes. We should see Patrick Mahomes come off the board here. Come on, you want to do it. You don't want to take A.J. Brown. You want to let me have A.J. Brown. You do. Come on. Oh, Cooper Kupp. Okay, come on, Clint. Don't be a jerk. Take Patrick Mahomes. Oh, he took Patrick Mahomes. All right, well, that's how you just let the draft work in your advantage. A.J. Brown falls to us in the 4th round. At pick 409, we get A.J. Brown. Welcome to the squad. We now have A.J. Brown and Chris Godwin alongside Dalvin Cook and Jonathan Taylor. Whew. All right, so in terms of running backs, this tier is getting pretty gross, but there are still a few guys that I think we can still shore up. And again, it's so hard to resist that wide receiver tier, especially how much of an advantage you can get with guys like A.J. Brown that can just have absolute blow-up games. I'm not a fan of Stephon Diggs. DJ Chark and Cortland Sutton, I see their usage going down a little bit. Calvin Ridley is the guy. If he falls to me, Calvin Ridley or DK Metcalf or Robert Woods, any three of those guys, it's going to be really hard to ignore them. I do really like I said, Cam Akers, KeShawn Vaughn, but there are still guys like Kareem Hunt and Tarik Cohen, Zach Moss, Matt Breida, guys that you can get a lot later that will at least get some points for you because we invested earlier in running back, not as interested in having to shoot for the moon here for some of these tier 6 guys like David Montgomery. And we'll see how the rest of this draft falls. We only got 3 more picks left, but if Calvin Ridley is here, my goodness, I love Calvin Ridley this year, and just statting him out right now, I see a world where it's very, very easy to project Calvin Ridley as outscoring Julio Jones. He was on track to have a monster year last year before he got hurt. We see David Montgomery and DeAndre Swift go, so again, a few more running backs from that tier. A lot of good receivers here. Obviously, DK Metcalf, Robert Woods. Robert Woods was pretty low in the touchdown department. Calvin Ridley has been a touchdown monster ever since he's entered the league. And again, in best ball, you really want guys with high weekly upside. I know Robert Woods gives you a bit more of a floor, but Calvin Ridley gives you that week winning upside with the amount of touchdowns that he scores. Cortland Sutton as well, DJ Chark as well. I like all of these guys, but I have Calvin Ridley ranked above them. It's going to be really hard to ignore Calvin Ridley if he falls here. I would have taken, obviously if Cooper Kupp would have fallen, but there we go, Tyler Lockett. I can't resist it, guys. There's no running back here that I like better than Calvin Ridley. We're going to have a really strong wide receiver core. We're definitely going to need to pick up a few running backs to shore up with Dalvin Cook and Jonathan Taylor, but love Calvin Ridley this year. That's a ridiculous squad, especially considering we didn't take a wide receiver too early, get one in the second round with Chris Godwin, but even if we waited, we still could have taken a running back here. We would have gotten DJ Moore and A.J. Brown and Calvin Ridley. So this just goes to show, again, why you need to prioritize running backs early, because you tell right now, you still have guys like DJ Chark on the board. You still have Cortland Sutton, T.Y. Hilton, Jarvis Landry, Michael Gallup, Deebo Samuel. All these guys are still here, and then you look over at the running backs and guys like backups now with Damian Williams, Kerryon Johnson, Marlon Mack all getting supplanted. J.K. Dobbins is interesting. I really like J.K. Dobbins' future. Not sure what he'll do this year. If he's still there in the 6th, it's definitely worth a shot. There's not too many other guys here other than Dobbins that I'd really be interested in. We see Kyler Murray go. Kyler Murray is I think is going to have a phenomenal year, but I'm really not interested in taking quarterbacks in the first 6 rounds. If Kyler or Dak ever fall to me in the 7th, it's almost an automatic shot. Otherwise, I'm going to be punting quarterback until like the 10th round, as we'll see here, because there's still a lot of guys that have tremendous value even later in the draft. See Mark Andrews, Stephon Diggs, and Darius Geis go next. Darius Geis going over a lot of the other rookie running backs. And one thing I've noticed on this site is right now, for some reason, the ADPs of a lot of the rookie running backs are really depressed. You have to go all the way down here to find Cam Akers and KeShawn Vaughn. I'm nervous about playing game theory because I get the sense in this room that people aren't really paying too much attention to the ADP on this site. So I'm not sure if these guys will actually fall, but I'm getting tempted to get cute and go with someone else and hope that these 2 guys fall to me. Nope, see? All right. Lesson learned, don't get cute. Didn't even have to learn it the hard way. You just learn it just by talking it out. So we see Cam Akers and Kareem Hunt go. We're going to have to grab another running back here, assuming one of these guys from this tier, our tier 6, falls. So I believe KeShawn Vaughn and J.K. Dobbins just went off the board. So I think KeShawn Vaughn is the only guy left. We still have 3 picks left, so there's no guarantee he even falls all the way to us. If he does, that's probably going to have to be the pick just because of how gross this running back tier is getting. I really like KeShawn Vaughn this year. Going in there, I don't think Ronald Jones is much of a threat. He's a better pass blocker and a better pass catcher than Ronald Jones. Both things that Tom Brady really likes, and we'll shore him up along there with Chris Godwin. So we're taking KeShawn Vaughn. So now we've got 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers. That's exactly how we like to start this draft, going 3 for 3 with the 2 strongest positions that you need to win in a best ball. Ignoring quarterbacks completely through the first 6 rounds has proven to be a really effective strategy in best ball over the course of the last couple of years. DJ Chark still falling. That's a little bit crazy. I think people are a little bit nervous about Laviska Shenault coming to town. But again, even though he gives an advantage, if this was a normal non-best ball league, there's no way I would have taken KeShawn Vaughn over DJ Chark there. But just considering how much we needed to make sure our running back position is a bit short up, again, you just see countless running backs just falling off the board. DJ Chark is still there, then that's just stupid. But some interesting things in this ADP right now. Dak Prescott is another name I'm potentially looking at here, but it's just so hard to take a quarterback early, especially when you see just how much value there is. We're in the 7th round now. We still got Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Drew Brees, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, Daniel Jones, Matt Stafford, Ryan Tannehill, Teddy Bridgewater. All of these guys I'd be totally fine with pairing a few of them together. Deebo Samuel goes off the board before DJ Chark. This is ridiculous. Like, if DJ Chark falls, I have to take him. I feel like I keep saying it out loud and thinking that it's going to end up sniping me, and it has a couple times now. So, come on. 3 more picks. It's like people don't even know who he is right now. So, again, looking at running back, Ronald Jones. Tarik Cohen is a name that I possibly consider, but I feel like you can get the same thing with a guy like Duke Johnson. Boston Scott is another name. Carlos Hyde is a free agent right now. Matt Breida, Naeem Hines, guys that would get targets and potentially have a few weeks for you that you'll be happy that you have them. Zach Moss, if you want to take a shot at Anthony McFarland, I get it. Oh, darn it, we're going to get auto draft. We're going to get auto draft sniped, aren't we? This guy's going to get DJ Chark auto drafted. Come on. He has 4 receivers. Give him Russell Wilson. Darn it. Frick my life. Well, he shouldn't have fallen to me in the 7th, so that's the moral. That's the moral of the story here. All right, so I'm scouring the receivers here. DJ Chark was the last guy in our tier 5. T.Y. Hilton's gone. Terry McLaurin went a long time ago, so we're on the clock now. I don't have anyone in tier 5. Tier 6 is really big for me for receiver. All of the tier 6 running backs are gone, so I know I don't like taking quarterbacks early, but you need multiple quarterbacks in a best ball, and I love the upside of Dak Prescott this year. I don't think he's going to make it back to me in my next pick, so I'm going to take Dak Prescott, and then we'll go from there. And because we took Dak Prescott, that by nature is going to steer us into drafting just 2 quarterbacks. Have Dak Prescott in our tier 2. So we're expecting him to have a really good year. If he doesn't hit, we've probably lost the draft. That's just how best ball works. You need to hit on the majority of your picks. I'm planning on Dak Prescott hitting pretty well this year. And if he doesn't, we're already screwed. So taking 2 quarterbacks on top of Dak is kind of redundant. So that means that of the 1Z position between quarterback and tight end, we'll be probably taking 3 tight ends. We'll take a few flyers later, but we'll probably be punching tight end for a bit because we still do need to shore up a few more wide receivers and running backs before they're completely gone. Looking at running back again, if Tarik Cohen falls, that's a name I'm so interested in. We could always go with a guy like Duke Johnson, who could very easily become the lead running back there. It's not like David Johnson has been healthy by any stretch of the imagination. Boston Scott, another name there. Obviously, that one is a little bit risky because we have the potential for the Eagles to sign somebody else. Not really too many other names at the running back position that you get really excited about. It dries up incredibly quickly, as you guys can tell. These are pretty gross. But when you jump over to the wide receivers, you can see we still got Michael Gallup and Tyler Boyd, and we've got Will Fuller, who's pretty interesting in best ball for sure. Christian Kirk going to have some good games. Marvin Jones, another touchdown monster. CeeDee Lamb falling all this way. Got Anthony Miller still here. Emmanuel Sanders, Darius Slayton, Curtis Samuel, maybe not so much. Brandon Cooks is a huge guy to look out for in best ball. So Deontay Johnson is another name. There's tons and tons and tons of receivers that I'm still happy with taking. So we're probably going to pivot and take running back and tight end before we start hitting on some of these receivers. Because again, we can just shore up, get 7 receivers to go with the rest of our team. And because it's best ball, when they have a good game, they'll be put in our roster, and when they suck, they're gone. Not really thrilled with any of the tight ends here. I do like Hunter Henry and Tyler Higbee a lot, but I don't necessarily want to reach for them. There's just not any running backs that I'm that excited about other than Tarik Cohen. I actually have Tarik Cohen right now. A little bit crazy, but I haven't statted ahead of David Montgomery. We'll probably adjust that as we go on, but he's just a target monster in PPR. Like Nick Foles is going to throw the ball a bit more efficiently than Mitchell Trubisky. So Tarik Cohen is definitely a name that I'm interested in here. I know a lot of people are interested in Jordan Howard, but I'd rather take Duke Johnson or... Oh, see, Duke Johnson just went off the board. So clearly they can read my thoughts. So Duke Johnson, gone. Tarik Cohen and Nyheim Hines. I think Matt Breida is still here. Can't find anybody on this. Breida. No, Matt Breida is gone. So now we're really hoping that Tarik Cohen falls, but we still have 5 picks left. It's getting dicey. Really dicey at running back. And ideally, you wouldn't be taking any of these guys around this place. If Tarik Cohen's gone, I might actually just take a stab at Zach Moss. I think Zach Moss is going to play the Frank Gore role, but I think he has a good bit more juice than Frank Gore did last year, and he'll at least be good for some bye-week backup for Dalvin Cook and Jonathan Taylor when they're out, and KeShawn Vaughn. So just going for all the rookies here, but Tarik Cohen's there. I like his upside the most with the amount of targets he's going to get. Typically, I really advise drafting handcuffs if you have like a really strong handcuff. I would go after Alexander Madison if this was a normal league with Dalvin Cook, but you don't want to draft handcuffs in best ball. They just don't tend to really do much for you. Because if your first round pick gets hurt, you're probably already lost. You're going for the most points scored in the entire league, so not really interested. Tevin Coleman's another guy I'm slightly interested in. I believe I have Tarik Cohen above Tevin Coleman. Let me check here. So I have Zach Moss. I have Zach Moss, Tarik Cohen, and Tevin Coleman all in this tier. I just like the weekly floor that Tarik Cohen gives you. He had close to 100 targets every single year. As you can see, he'll have some down games, but he still gets you 15-point games. I'm taking Tarik. We're a little bit more short up at our running back position now. We might double tap and take another running back and just finish it up because the running backs are getting really disgusting. And there's so many names at wide receiver that I still like because we haven't even started tapping into tier 7. Whereas the running backs, once we get past the tier 7 and running backs, it gets pretty disgusting really, really, really fast. So we're probably going to take one more running back and then call it quits. Be fine with Dalvin Cook, Jonathan Taylor, KeShawn Vaughn, Tarik Cohen, and then one of Zach Moss, Tevin Coleman. Don't really trust Darrell Henderson. When I statted that team out, I'm not really expecting him to get too much usage. The rest of these guys are pretty much just handcuffs at this point. Not really interested in taking a quarterback anytime soon as well, since we went so early on Dak Prescott. I do really like Tyler Higbee and Hunter Henry, but I also like Jonnu Smith and Mike Gesicki and Blake Jarwin and Dallas Goedert. So there's still a ton of names at tight end and wide receiver. I feel like I'm reaching to take a guy like Tevin Coleman in the 9th, but watch him end up being the more productive running back there in San Francisco. He's getting ignored right now with the way Raheem Mostert played towards the end of the season. A lot of people are just paying absolute like no credit for Tevin Coleman, but watch Tevin Coleman end up being the running back here. That's kind of the way that system works in San Francisco, is you don't really ever know who's going to end up being the guy. So again, kind of gross, but with Matt Breida gone, they didn't really do anything to address this position. I think Tevin Coleman is going to have a good year. So we'll finish up our running backs, and from this point onward, I'm not really looking at taking another running back unless like we end up grabbing someone like, I don't even know, like Dare Ogunbowale or Lynn Bowden in the very last round of the draft. Not really interested otherwise. So we see Tyler Higbee and Hunter Henry go. Again, like both of those guys, but I don't feel like they give you a significant advantage over what you're going to get from just being able to pair up like a trio of, Ian Thomas, Blake Jarwin, Mike Gesicki, Dallas Goedert, Irv Smith. There's still plenty of guys. Rob Gronkowski, Dawson Knox, not really too huge of a fan of his. So we'll probably take a tight end with one of our next two picks. I don't like going 10 rounds without taking a tight end. So at a bare minimum, we'll probably take a tight end in around 11, but we'll probably look to see what's there in round 10 and then just start hammering on some of our tier 7 receivers. Getting a tight end run starting here. We got Hayden Hurst going off the board. There's CeeDee Lamb finally. No, we're not expecting a ton of volume for him this year, but I think that's still an incredible value going this late. Jameson Crowder is also a really interesting name. He's going to have a lot of targets this year. I don't really know how much Denzel Mims is going to command in year one. Do like that pick there. Like we said, we're dipping into tier 7, but there's still guys in our tier 6 that haven't even gone yet. So, see Rob Gronkowski go off the board. So the tight ends are definitely getting... I was going to start talking about Darius Slayton, but this guy prevented me from going there. Love Darius Slayton this year. I think he's very, very undervalued. Anthony Miller, Emmanuel Sanders, Deontay Johnson, all guys still around that tier. Mike Gesicki goes. Man, the tight ends are going. I'm starting to get a little nervous, but there's still a decent amount. We're probably going to double tap tight end here just to make sure that we get two guys that we like in our tier 5. Now with Rob Gronkowski gone, Jared Cook, Mike Gesicki, Austin Hooper gone, we still got Dallas Goedert, Jonnu Smith, Ian Thomas, Noah Fant, and Blake Jarwin all there. Really like Blake Jarwin a lot this year. Being able to take over for Jason Witten, can get the stack here. Dallas Goedert, like him a lot too. TJ Hawkinson as well. Jonnu Smith showing a lot of rapport there with Ryan Tannehill, and he's actually working out with Ryan Tannehill right now. Probably right now we have Jonnu Smith and Dallas Goedert ranked higher. See if any more tight ends go off before we get here. And it was Dallas Goedert, so that pretty much signals to me we have to go tight end here or we're going to miss out on our tier 5. I want to nail at least 2 of these guys down. So we're either going to go Jonnu Smith or Blake Jarwin with our next pick. And if this guy takes one of them, nope, doesn't. So let's go Jonnu Smith. I really like Jonnu Smith a lot. And working out off-season with Mr. Ryan Tannehill. Delaney Walker's gone. Other than A.J. Brown, they really don't have any good receivers there. They're going to have to throw the ball to someone. I love Jonnu Smith this year. Take Jonnu Smith, and if we still see Blake Jarwin or Ian Thomas there on the board, we'll probably just double-tap tight end. Again, I'm punting quarterback because I'm still comfortable taking a guy like Teddy Bridgewater or Ryan Tannehill later on. But the tight end tier is starting to scare me a little bit. Outside of Ian Thomas, Noah Fant, and Blake Jarwin, it's starting to get pretty gross. So if we can just shore up 2 guys that I like in tier 5, they should pair up very nicely going into this season. We see Mike Williams go there, a little bit of a puzzling pick, considering some of the other receivers that are still on the board, but Watson ended up being good, and I eat my words. Mecole Hardman, interesting pick for best ball for sure, considering his big playability. Okay, all right, we see Zach Moss go. That was actually a decent bit of falling for him. We'll just double check the running backs, make sure I didn't miss anything. Naeem Hines, no. Yeah, the running backs are gross. I don't think A.J. Dillon's going to have too much workload this year. Darrynton Evans only gets work if Derrick Henry gets hurt. Yeah, the running backs are just disgusting, so we're going to pivot. We are going to take Blake Jarwin. We are going to give a stack for our quarterback. Blake Jarwin takes over for Jason Witten, who had about 80 targets last year, and they paid him, which, considering that they still haven't even paid Dak yet, hopefully they pay him before the season starts. This team will be dead on arrival. But now we're pretty happy with our tight ends as well. With Jonnu Smith and Blake Jarwin. Got Dak Prescott. We'll need to get another quarterback here eventually, but we really want to start just hammering wide receiver. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rounds left, I believe. We just did pick 11, so yep, 7 rounds left. And of those next 7 picks, we're going to get one quarterback at least, probably one more tight end, and the rest of those picks are going to be wide receivers. So start monitoring who's falling. Anthony Miller's not going to make his way back to me. Deontay Johnson gone. Preston Williams really like a lot. He was doing great before he tore his ACL. Deshaun Jackson is probably good for 4 good games if he can stay healthy for 4 games. Get a lot of the rookies too. Parris Campbell, and I believe Michael Pittman is down here. You see Laviska Shenault, Jalen Reagor, Justin Jefferson, Denzel Mims. We're just going to be a very heavy focused rookie team, aren't we? We already got KeShawn Vaughn and Jonathan Taylor on our team, so we're just going to hit a lot of rookies because right now the value is there. I know rookie wide receivers typically take a little bit to get going, but we have a strong enough wide receiver core. We just need these guys to hit at some point in the year. So that's again why you kind of want to punt receiver a bit, even though you want to have a decent core. You don't need to stock up and get like 6 receivers in the first 10 rounds because there's still guys that are going to perform that go later in the draft. See, Preston Williams goes off the board, Anthony Miller, Emmanuel Sanders. So people are starting to dip into our tier 7 guys, but we still have Jalen Reagor and Justin Jefferson on the board, which I don't know if it's people are afraid of the rookie receivers or if it's because of just the way that this ADP is listed out to where like they're buried underneath guys like Devin Funchess. Jalen Reagor and Justin Jefferson under Devin Funchess is kind of criminal. I really think that's just with this new draft board, they haven't gotten enough data yet to start seeing the rookies go up. But I mean, we're just going to start pounding away at the receiver here and just take some of these rookies, man. Like, I love Jalen Reagor and Justin Jefferson this year. They go into a situation where they're going to be used immediately. Their teams, both the Vikings and the Eagles, really, really needed a receiver. They spent high draft capital on him. I know Henry Ruggs is there. That's also intriguing in best ball because he's probably going to be pretty up and down. So we might take a shot on Henry Ruggs and then take either Reagor or Jefferson. I like Reagor a little bit better than Jefferson. I think the Eagles are going to throw the ball a good bit more than the Vikings. Last year they ran the ball more than passing, and I think that's going to continue. And Adam Thielen is there. Deshaun Jackson is going to get hurt, and Alshon Jeffrey looks like a complete shell of himself. So Jalen Reagor could be the number 1 receiver in Philadelphia this year. Again, I do like Deshaun Jackson for his best ball ability, and you see Alshon Jeffrey still there. This is ridiculous, the receivers that are still here. Still got Teddy Bridgewater, Ryan Tannehill at quarterback. We do need to grab another... Oh, still got Baker Mayfield as well. Do need to grab another quarterback before they're all gone. Otherwise, we won't have a backup plan for... We still have Phillip Rivers, so... Probably going to go wide receiver and then quarterback, or I might wait one more. I'll probably wait one more round for quarterback because I think one of these guys will still come back to me. Let us see. What do we want to do? I have a feeling as soon as I take a rookie wide receiver like Justin Jefferson or Jalen Reagor, it's going to like alert the rest of the room that, oh crap, we forgot that these rookie wide receivers existed and I just wasn't scrolling far enough. So watch me take Jalen Reagor, and then we see Justin Jefferson and Ruggs and all those guys go off the board. But Jalen Reagor is the next guy on my board. I'm going to follow my cheat sheet that I give you guys, and we'll take Jalen Reagor. Well, looks like I was wrong. Well, people are going to continue to ignore the receivers. There's so many of them left. I really want to shore up my other quarterback who... What? All right, so here's one thing you have to remember when you're playing best ball. When you're looking at like the quarterback and the tight end position where you're only going to have a couple guys, you need to make sure that you don't draft two guys with the same bye week. Ryan Tannehill, Baker Mayfield, and Teddy Bridgewater all have a different bye week. I just have to wait so long till my next pick. It's hard to choose between these guys. I have Baker Mayfield ranked slightly higher than Ryan Tannehill, but I really like Ryan Tannehill's upside. I think he gives a higher weekly ceiling and a lower floor, but we're looking for ceiling here. Let's take Ryan Tannehill. Yes. So we've got the double quarterback tight end stack. We got Ryan Tannehill and Jonnu Smith, and we've got Dak Prescott and Blake Jarwin. Oh, see, I did alert the rest of the league. So we see Justin Jefferson go off after me. Still like Michael Pittman. Still like Parris Campbell, the two guys there in Indianapolis. Going to be a decent amount of target increase in Indianapolis with Phillip Rivers coming to town. Probably not going to take another quarterback. Don't really need one. Again, if Dak Prescott gets hurt, I'm probably pretty screwed anyway. And having Ryan Tannehill to shore up at least week 10 when Dak Prescott is on bye should be enough. And unless we can get like Teddy Bridgewater in like the 17th round, still got 5 more rounds here. But my guess is someone else is going to take Teddy Bridgewater before that happens. Now we're starting to see some of the rookie wide receivers go. Henry Ruggs goes off the board after Kenny Stills. That's a little interesting. Oh, Michael Pittman went. That makes me sad. Oh, well. Still got Parris Campbell. I like them almost as much. I see them finishing pretty close to each other. All right, my fingers are crossed that Parris Campbell is still here. To me, that's clearly the next pick for me. And if not, it's Denzel Mims. But again, not looking at doing anything here other than taking wide receiver. Oh, sweet. And, of course, my computer's going to lag. Why wouldn't it? We're taking Parris Campbell. Welcome to the squad. Really like Parris Campbell a lot this year. I know he had a down year last year because he was hurt, but he's probably going to play slot. We know how much Phillip Rivers loves to throw to the slot receiver. Oh, Jared Goff is still there. Man, quarterbacks are so deep this year. I know we say that every year, but it really is true. In one quarterback leagues, there's no reason to jump too super early for a quarterback unless you're positive you're going to be getting a significant advantage. And that's why I would only advocate taking Kyler Murray or Dak in the 7th round. Otherwise, just going to look the other way. Ian Thomas is still here at tight end. That's tempting. That's really tempting. We've got Parris Campbell. I like Denzel Mims. But T. Higgins is still here. He's still got plenty of upside shots. We talked earlier about taking 3 tight ends because we took only 2 quarterbacks. Got 3 picks left. We got 5 wide receivers, 5 running backs. Ideally, we want at least 6 wide receivers. We're good on running back. If Ian Thomas is still here, yeah, we got to do Ian Thomas. Boom. So now I'm really happy with that tight end pairing. Jonnu Smith, Blake Jarwin, and Ian Thomas. Those 3 guys together end up being really good together. I can't believe someone would take Gerald Everett over Ian Thomas, but maybe I just believe too much in what Tyler Higbee can do. That hurts. That hurts. Seeing Denzel Mims go there. I was looking here at the receivers, and they definitely are drying up a good bit. I like Steven Sims a lot. I was hoping to be able to grab Denzel Mims still. Traquan Smith is interesting. Devin Funchess is interesting. I'll probably go Steven Sims or Devin Funchess here. Just hoping for that weekly upside. Obviously, T. Higgins might actually take T. Higgins. I think he carries a lot of touchdown upside as well. We have him ranked pretty similarly to Denzel Mims for Dynasty. Definitely have him ranked higher. Denzel Mims, that is, higher than T. Higgins in redraft, but I do think T. Higgins will still get some usage. I'm expecting a lot more passing out of Cincinnati this year, so we'll probably go T. Higgins if he's still there. Chris Thompson, come on. Leave T. Higgins alone. You don't want him. You don't want him. Woo! All right, so don't get Denzel Mims, but I'll take T. Higgins. I'm fine with that. Still like Steven Sims. I know I never hear anyone talk about Steven Sims, and I get it. He plays for Washington. Nobody likes anyone in Washington not named Terry McLaurin. But hear me out. Last year and towards the end of the year, he really started turning it on and was developing a lot of rapport with Dwayne Haskins. I don't think that much of Gandy Golden. I don't think that much of Kelvin Harmon. I think that Steven Sims is a clear wide receiver 2 there outside of Mr. McLaurin. And the amount of targets he was getting towards the end of the year, if we just have a couple of those weeks, I mean, we're talking about our 17th round pick. It's worth the upside. Laviska Shenault there too. I should have taken Laviska Shenault with my last pick. Oh well, we see Laviska Shenault and Teddy Bridgewater go. I have Shenault ranked. I have him ranked under T. Higgins. They're right next to each other. T. Higgins, Laviska Shenault, and Steven Sims are literally right next to each other in my rankings. But Steven Sims I knew would fall because nobody knows his name other than people drafting on the FFPC. Steven Sims has a much higher ADP than a lot of the guys that have already gone before him because people in the FFPC, they pay attention. So I'm trying to be like them. So as you can see, we are pretty close to done here. Got one more pick to wrap up this team. I really like this format, guys. Not having to worry about kickers or defenses. Just having 18 picks. You got to strategize as to how you want to fill out your quarterback and tight ends, and then go your wide running backs and wide receivers after that. We get one more pick now. I'm content with quarterback because Teddy Bridgewater. If Teddy Bridgewater would have fallen there, I would have thought about it. We could still take Fitzpatrick or Tua or Phillip Rivers, but I don't really want 3 quarterbacks. I feel like it's kind of redundant because, again, as I keep saying, if Dak Prescott sucks or he gets hurt, this team is blown. Like everything, this whole team it's shot. So you're not going to limp to the finish line with a backup quarterback. I don't really think that Phillip Rivers or Drew Lock is really going to see my starting lineup all that much. Gardner Minshew there as well. If I drafted quarterback later, like if I took Matthew Stafford and Ryan Tannehill, I'd be more interested in taking another quarterback, but not so much now. Blake Jarwin, Jonnu Smith, and Ian Thomas have them all basically ranked right next to each other, and I think they can put together some pretty strong weeks considering only one of them has to perform each week. I like the odds there. At running back, we've got Dalvin Cook, Jonathan Taylor, KeShawn Vaughn, Tarik Cohen, and Tevin Coleman. I'm going to see what they have at running back. If there's any ridiculous lottery ticket upside guys still left. And then at wide receiver, you've got Chris Godwin, A.J. Brown, Calvin Ridley, Jalen Reagor, Parris Campbell, T. Higgins, and Steven Sims. I'm comfortable that we can find 3 to 4 of those guys having a good week each week. Let's see what we got at running back. So we've got Carlos Hyde, who would be a ballsy pick because it's looking like he'll end up signing with someone like either the Falcons or the Eagles before the season starts. Don't like Peyton Barber. Darwin Thompson, gross. Darrynton Evans. I'm probably going to go Darrynton Evans if he's still here. I'll explain why in a second. I want to see who else is here. Like Boone. No. Gross. DJ Dallas, maybe. Gross. All right, we'll see if it even matters, because he might go. And I feel like Darrynton Evans is the only guy that stands out to me at the running backs. The reason being, he was a really good running back in college, all-purpose back. Nowhere near the same size as Derrick Henry. And if Derrick Henry plays 16 games, he's not going to get on the field too much. He'll play a little bit of the Dion Lewis role. But I think Darrynton Evans is clearly ahead of Dion Lewis. Now, at this point, if we're taking a running back, there's very, very, very little chance of them doing anything this year unless an injury happens. But if Derrick Henry goes down on a run-first team like the Titans, there's literally no one else in that backfield that is worth mentioning, at least from a fantasy angle. So Darrynton Evans has clear injury upside with Derrick Henry there. Every other name here is either way past their prime, like Giovanni Bernard and Dion Lewis, not on a team like Carlos Hyde, guys like Gus Edwards and Benny Snell that would need multiple injuries. I think that one's pretty clear to me. If Darrynton Evans goes, I need to look at what we still have of receivers left. Could go Jonnu Smith. Could just go... James Washington is actually pretty interesting. Could be stupid and take Antonio Brown, even though he's probably too crazy to ever play in the NFL again. Worth a shot in the 18th round, right? James Washington would be who I would probably go. We got 3 picks left. If James Washington and Darrynton Evans go off the board, then I'll take Antonio Brown. How's that sound? Oh, someone else took Antonio Brown. And then there's Drew Lock. So that means I'm either going to get Darrynton Evans or James Washington to wrap up this team. And we will get Darrynton Evans. Like it. Like it a lot. Lots of rookies. Maybe I've been focusing too much on Dynasty, being this much in love with the rookies. But again, running down this squad here, we've got Dak and Ryan Tannehill. We've got KeShawn Vaughn, Jonathan Taylor, Darrynton Evans, Dalvin Cook, Tevin Coleman, and Tarik Cohen at running back. We've got Jonnu Smith, Ian Thomas, and Blake Jarwin at tight end. And at wide receiver, we've got a big, long list. Steven Sims, T. Higgins, Parris Campbell, backups. But then we got A.J. Brown, Chris Godwin, Calvin Ridley, and Jalen Reagor. I'm feeling really good about this team. If Dak Prescott goes off and finishes as a top 5 quarterback, that's what you want in best ball. You want a quarterback that can finish in the top 5. I think Jonathan Taylor gives me a really high floor. Dalvin Cook gives me a really high ceiling. KeShawn Vaughn is a bit of a flyer, but we needed a flyer in the 6th round. Darrynton Evans gives me a little bit of injury insurance. Tevin Coleman could end up benefiting with Matt Breida going. Tarik Cohen there, giving us at least a little bit of floor with the amount of targets he receives. Jonnu Smith, Ian Thomas, and Blake Jarwin, all emerging options, now the number 1 option for each of their respective teams. Jonnu Smith loses Delaney Walker, Ian Thomas loses Greg Olsen, and Blake Jarwin loses Jason Witten. Keep viewing my team. And then wide receiver, Calvin Ridley, still dealing with Julio Jones there, but Chris Godwin, the clear wide receiver to own in Tampa Bay. A.J. Brown, the only wide receiver to really own in Tennessee. Jalen Reagor could easily be the number 1 wide receiver in Philadelphia. T. Higgins, we'll see what he does in his first year. Steven Sims, as we mentioned, breaking out. And then Parris Campbell, a slot guy, most likely playing in Indianapolis. And that rounds out our team. So we're going to be doing more of these. I really enjoy doing best ball drafts. To me, they're more fun than doing a mock draft because you have some skin in the game. What's nice about this website is you don't even have to invest that much money. This is the cheapest I've seen best ball drafts. Like they even got a 3-team best ball draft. That's really interesting. So your teams are going to be absolutely loaded. They have fast and slow drafts. So if you don't want to do it like the way I just did it, you can do a slow draft with our 8-hour picks. Those are probably a little bit more beneficial if you're not able to sit down and be there for an entire draft. But really like this setup, being able to just spend $1 on a draft, really fun. And if you win, you make a decent amount of money. So you spend $1.10. If you win, you can basically get 7 times. So you have to lose in 7 drafts to not make up what you invested in. So I feel like we can win a few of these. But even if we don't, it's still really fun to be able to do a draft with people that are actually really caring about what they're doing because there's money on the line. But anyway, that is pretty much it, guys. We'll be doing more of these. I really enjoy them. If you guys want to get in on any of these, let me know. We can do fan version where we have some people from Fantasy Addiction Network come on and we can dominate the draft together. So anyway, we will see you guys in the next video.